live, people.
So I apologize, we're a minute late due to technical difficulties. So I will call to order the May meeting of the Redevelopment Commission for Perry County. The first item we have is the approval of the agenda. Any changes, corrections to the agenda now that we've got it corrected?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Approval of the minutes. Sherry sent the minutes out last week, I believe. I think it was last week.
2 days ago. We got
It was
that.
last week.
Come out.
Today's Monday.
Okay. Oh, you're right.
I hate to be right. So, everybody had a chance to read them? Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes for the last meeting?
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Our TIF balances, TIF allocation one, which is the Perry County Courthouse, $295,340.86. The TIF number three, which is the Wapaka TIF, at $400,360.43. Web Wheel, $328,226.34, and Riverview West is $4,290.06.
Can you say the first one, the courthouse again? Sorry.
First one is $295,340.86.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Forest Canton. Bill, you got any updates for us for Forest Canton?
Well, I passed out some maps.
Yeah.
We have 2 more sales.
That's great.
A person who'd already purchased lot number 9. We were going to try to get it done today, and I used the same address that he had on the first one, but he wanted a different one. So we'll get that taken care of either tomorrow or Wednesday. But I'm going to go out and put all the sold signs on the board when the weather's permitting. So that's where we're at right now, John.
So we have 10 sold, looks like,
Okay.
and there's some up in the front.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
nice.
Those are the 18 and 19
Yeah.
were the 2 recent ones.
Okay, great.
That's great.
Excellent. Yeah. It's moving along.
And so we're still, I guess we're still on the same side. Bill, did you hear anything from the school?
I did talk to the school, I talked to the principal as well. And by the time we actually got together, it's too late.
Okay.
We're going to resume that in August.
Okay,
I
perfect.
talked to the teacher, and then I went and talked to Brad. He said, we're on board with it. But by the time, it's about a week or 2 left. We decided to table it till August.
Okay. Anything else on Forest County? All right, Wapaka TIF resolution and bond payoff, which we actually discussed and voted on last month to pay off the 2014 and the 2016 bonds. And Jason has been working diligently, and I will tell you, the plan is to pay tomorrow, but we have a little glitch, so we may be plus a little interest by the time we get all the paperwork finished on the backside. Those bonds, one bond is actually owned by German American Bank, and the other one is actually owned by the Perry County Port Authority. The GAB bond is going to be roughly $111,700 and some change, probably going to be right around that. That's with the interest payable to tomorrow, but it sounded like they were having a little issue trying to get the bonds because the bank was holding them, so it may delay that. We may have a couple of days interest here or there on that one. But it sounds like everything is in order now. The Port Authority bond is going to be $319,130 some. That one I think is probably going to pay on schedule because it sounded like he had all the documents for that bond to pay. And this is something that he didn't really say the other day, but that money is not coming out of that TIF money, that 400 and some thousand. When we do a bond issue, we have to have a reserve at the bonding agent, which is actually technically held at Old National. So that money is actually coming out of that reserve, and there'll probably be a little layover extra money that's gonna roll back into us from them whenever we get this done. So we'll still have the 400 some odd thousand still left in the Wapaka TIF. That bond is scheduled, the last payment on that bond is actually scheduled for January the 15th of 27. That's the last payment on that bond.
If we let it go.
We have to let it go, we don't have enough money on that one. Yeah, that one, we gotta wait for all the payments on that one. And this does not affect, the difference that Wapaka sometimes has to pay on the shortage.
Mhm.
That's all specific to the bond issue that we still have outstanding. And we, mathematically, we're not gonna be able to pay that early, it doesn't look like, because the cash flow's gotta come in to pay that one. That's just how the cash flow looks. Now, there may be a little residual left after the fact on that one, based on the same thing, because they have to hold a little bit of extra in the bond account. So the only thing we'll have outstanding once these two are paid off is that it's actually the Series 2021 bond, which was the bond that we did in 2021, obviously, that was used to pay for the power line move, and there was a whole pile of things, and then some of those were some repayments on some old bonds that we had at higher interest rates.
That's the one where we met Alvin on the site.
That's correct.
And they
Yeah.
went over and then we had to give more
Yeah,
money.
so some of it's mitigation, some of it's, the power line was a big chunk of it, as well as a bond that we just paid some bonds off early, and we just cycled it through this one. So that's everything that's on schedule for us to continue that, so. So I guess what I'm gonna ask is, I think it's proper for us to have a final vote and stuff on that. I also did find out, Kelly, your question, it does not have to go through the commissioners.
Okay.
We can, once we approve it, finally approve,
No
now that we
council or
have the
commissioner
numbers,
outside of this? Okay.
they will move it forward and finalize the payoff.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
So-
Thank you for finding out.
But I think we need to I would feel comfortable making another motion now that we have the numbers based upon 1 day or two of interest. I would feel more comfortable at this body doing that.
So I'm just gonna ask a question. So with all of the TIF balances, it's approximately 1.1 million,
Correct.
correct? The money that the bond we will pay off early will total what?
The bonds we pay off earlier are 435,000, is that right?
445,000?
That's all right, it's
No.
319,
440,
it's 319,
448.30.
100 roughly.
431, 400.
Yeah. And that's all coming out of the money that's
The reserve.
over in the bond area.
So that's not affecting the 1.1 million? Okay, I'm just gonna throw
In
this out there.
fact, what's gonna happen, the way it sounds, is we're gonna have a little bit coming back that's still gonna be,
That's in reserve.
that's still held, yes.
So I'm gonna throw this out there. Everybody shoot me down. The remaining 2021 bond balance is that we will not be paying.
Currently, so we're scheduled, we're in 2025, our next payment is the 15th of July. It's about 2.5 million.
Oh, total what we owe. So even if we pulled all of our reserves,
We don't have enough,
we don't have enough.
no.
What I'm trying to do is stop them from having to make an underpayment.
Yeah, we still don't have enough,
So
Go ahead.
2.5 million remains in that then?
2.05.
2.0.
And we have 1.1 total.
Correct.
So we're still not gonna have.
We're
enough.
still gonna have enough, and it may schedule, the way it's was set up is to pretty much schedule itself out. Because I don't know if legally we can take, let's say courthouse TIF money.
The district.
We'd have to do some resolution.
We can't do it anyway. We don't have enough funds.
We'd have to get some legal stuff done, I know that.
That's a good try and an effort to try
I
to
know,
help
but
out.
we still, even if we took all of our excess, we still couldn't
We
take
still
it
don't have
out.
enough money. Still don't have enough.
But in order to just pay it down with our excess, we have to legally find out if that's,
Anytime you
Yeah,
spend in the
that'd be
district,
difficult.
we can do that.
gotcha,
I would tell you it'd be difficult to do that.
okay.
We still don't have.
And the interest rate is 3.275, so it's not killing us.
No,
But your idea to help
Which is why
Wapaka,
we financed it that way. What's that?
his idea just was to
Yeah.
help out
We're trying
Wapaka,
to
which is
stop
good.
them from having
Yeah.
to kick in if the bond payment is
That's
not
right.
enough,
We
Right.
want to help our little.
but we can't do it.
And that's why, I asked Jason that same question last time. If we pay these bonds off, does it affect that? And
They
he
don't
said,
have to
no,
do that
because
over,
that's
but they
specific
will
to
still
that
have to.
bond. It's specific to the bond. But they have agreed that if we don't bring in enough revenue, that they'll pay the difference.
Yeah.
So,
Now, this reserve that we're supposed to have for the 14 and the 16, when we deplete that by,
it'll roll into this 400,000 that we're holding.
okay, but
So we'll
when
be
you
able
talk
to
about
see
the
that.
reserve, that's just for those two anyways. It wasn't for the other.
Correct.
We're not stealing from the
Yeah,
other one that's still out
So
there.
what they do
right?
is they have to
Okay.
hold some money in reserve per
Okay.
bond.
So 21 already has its reserve.
Correct.
That's what I want to make
So
sure.
the end of 21, so that last payment, that 2027 payment, we may be paying off a little early.
Yeah.
If there's enough money in that reserve to pay it
Okay.
off, then we'll just forward that forward
Okay.
and pay it off.
I just want to make
Which
sure.
maybe it's 2 payments we save at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because let's see, the payment schedule, interest, total debt service, about 532,000-ish plus or minus per payment is what we're paying. So there might be enough in there to pay that a little bit early.
Yeah.
And that may save them a year. We'll just have to see what the numbers say.
30 grand.
Yeah.
If you divided it like that,
See what the numbers.
it's all gonna matter.
And this saves money by paying these off early. It saves,
It does, and the money's there.
Yeah.
The money's there,
I mean,
so
it makes sense.
it's there, so we might as well get it cleaned up.
Yep.
So I would like to have a motion again to approve the payoff schedule based upon paying tomorrow. And again, there may be a plus or minus a day or two of interest. The Port Authorities is $319,130 some dollars, 34, plus or minus if they actually get the paperwork done tomorrow. And the GAB is $111,783, which may be just a touch more if they have to delay a day or two to get the paperwork finished.
I'll make the motion.
So the
Yeah, the
motion
motion.
is with the plus or minus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second.
Got a motion in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. I think that, now that we got the numbers, it looks a lot better for me. I feel more comfortable with that. So this morning we had kind of a revolution because I went in and I was doing the math and I looked at the TIF balance so I called Jason. I said, Jason, we got a problem. I said, we don't have enough money. He said, then he explained to me how the other bond thing works, the holding thing works. So it worked out pretty good. That's what these numbers are.
Okay.
So the other thing, I got Baker Tilly's invoice when he was down last week, and plus a little bit of few numbers that he had done. So his time, that fee is $9,210. Traditionally, what we do with that is we equalize it or amortize it, if you will. That's the right word. Over all the TIF districts and pay that based on the TIF district balance.
And that's something we have to do every
We
year.
have
We're
no choice.
required,
As
so,
long as we have a TIF district, we have to have a meeting,
okay.
and that meeting's technically supposed to be before June, if I'm not mistaken. We used to do these in the fall. Once I realized what the rule was, we moved it to do it in proper timing.
So we will definitely have to have a 26 and 27 in
Correct.
order to pay those bonds
Well,
off.
at least the 26,
27.
and then we'll have to decide what we're gonna do ultimately with the Riverview West. So we'll have another year to kind of go through that. We definitely have to do
We
one
can
next.
leave it sit for another year and not worry about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it next year, and then we'll look and see if we need to do it in 27 or not.
And if it's
So no
worth,
matter what, Wapaka's is over. It's sunsetting, it's over.
So it actually
It's reached
sunsets,
its lifetime.
it actually sunsets, we got a first and a second on that.
26?
Let's vote on that.
oh, yeah.
On the,
No, we did, I think. Didn't we vote on that?
Well, let's do it again just to be sure.
yeah, so we'll
Okay,
vote on,
motion,
we
Bill
got a motion and a
seconded.
second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So they go aye. Okay, so the technical date, and I'll look this up, Tony.
Better be
I thought it was
sorry.
26.
The technical date is, the declaration
25.
resolution is November 16th of 2025,
So we,
okay?
that's,
But we miss,
1 year.
July is when they do the taxes. So it'll actually come through, still through on 26.
Yeah.
and it'll sort of conclude 27, it looks like,
And
based
then,
upon the timing.
at that point, if we don't close the road review west, we'll
Then we
still
still
have to
have-
keep doing the review, which is
Correct.
very
Yeah.
expensive.
So the only
For having
way,
$4,000 in there.
yeah, the only way we'd probably keep that open is if we had a project coming on.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we do, quite frankly.
Mhm.
I'm hoping we do. But we've got a year to think about it.
Yeah.
We got a year to think.
Speaking, have you heard anything else about this prospective motels or apartments?
Yes, I have. The motel is we're on the wait and see yet. Apparently, they've got all these approvals, but they've done, I don't know, they're not pushing it. And so Chris and I had a conversation about that, and he's supposedly pushing them. The apartment complex, they've redone what they were gonna do. They wanna now go up to 9th Street, which is behind Gene's old building, Swiss Plywood building, and there's a lot with that old house on it, next to what Neil Werner owns.
Yes.
So they want to put a piece there, and they have to get, by this fall, I think they'll have whatever approvals, if they get it from the government this fall, because they're trying to get tax credits. So the tax credits comes in, it sounds like it's about a $14 million project. I actually spoke with a lady last week, and she's relatively optimistic it's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen, then they're gonna try to reapply the following year. So they're definitely interested in coming, it's just a matter of them getting their government money.
But the motels, they're saying they're.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years now, and the city's already transferred them the property. So they own the property, they already own they sold the warehouse was sold to them. So they have all of that. My understanding is the hotel franchise has approved them. I think the drawings have been approved, but nothing has happened, so I'm still following up on that. And then there was another one, I was working with the city on some, I call them townhouses. So I think the city's getting closer to looking at that and
Maybe
considering
trying
on
to
some of
give
the,
up some of them lots.
yeah,
and-
some of the lots that still are being used downtown down on 7th Street.
Good.
So we're still kind of progressing. I think, and I have not been out to Hoosier subdivision now. I think they're getting close.
They have one started.
Have they?
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be
Yeah,
nice
so-
right in the beginning.
So, I mean, right now, we've got space,
And the one out here at French Ridge Estates, they're selling lots.
are they?
So, yeah, I've sold.
Have they sold any?
I think 3 or 4 lots have
Okay.
sold. I mean, don't quote me, maybe 2 or 3, but
So-
I've
so, I
seen
mean,
the market
We're
sold.
starting, we're starting to open up the house buying or
Yeah.
building, so,
And that's a different type of
Yeah.
subdivision.
and we need all the
Which is
funds.
needed. Right.
Absolutely.
So what we started seems like it's working. I'll just say we got to take a little credit for it, right?
Does anybody know, you know, the two guys came in and talked to us about the
That's the
French
one.
Ridge, right? So there's still no talk about whether we can help them once they do a residential tip.
No.
They increased the lot size, they're gonna do septic now?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to sewer.
They're not hooking.
I don't think so. Last I heard, the residential TIF was not gonna work for them because they didn't want to upfront the money to buy the bonds.
Those are the lots I'm talking about that have already
That's-
sold.
Yeah,
A few, at least a couple.
There's some,
Because they were here wanting, where we can help, we can help until we establish a tip.
Oh, okay, yeah.
and they were trying to do full hookups and trying to get some money to do.
And they were
They're
looking
that.
for
not
ready
gonna hook up
funds.
the sewer then.
I don't think so. I think they kept their lot sizes big enough that they
they're
didn't
like
have
several,
to.
2 or 3, 4 acres, aren't they?
Yeah, they're online. They look nice.
But it's, what's
Just a
exciting is
different
it's,
type of
it's
lot.
happening. It's
Yeah.
starting to happen. And we're happening in different market areas too, which I think is good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we still have to keep that whole process up forward. It's a matter now of still trying to grow the community. And that's still, it's always a challenge for us. We seem like we've got the jobs, we just gotta grow the community. We've gotta get more people to live here. So, and I don't, personally, I don't see where anybody could say that it's a bad place to live, because it's not. It's safe, it's got good schools, it's clean, taxes are reasonable. I mean, there's no negatives. There's no negatives. Well, some would argue that there probably is, but I don't see any negatives. So I'll go on record and say that, since I am, right? Last thing I have for the meeting is approval of the mowing invoices. And if we could do it this way, I have an invoice right now for $700, and that's basically what we're gonna be paying every month.
Is it going down with the lot sales?
Huh?
Is it going down with the lot sales?
Not yet, because we're still mowing some of those, because we don't want them to grow up.
Oh, even though they're sold, there's not anything started.
We're still mowing, yeah.
Okay.
So it may go down a little bit. I'll talk to him about that. But I would, if it's okay, if this works, as I get the invoices, if you give me the permission to go ahead and send those, we don't have to wait a month. Because we're gonna be a month in the rear all the time for them. We know we have it. We've made the contract with them.
And that doesn't change, it's the
And we
700 flat a
approved
month.
the contract,
We've approved the
so-
contract, so, I have been kind of doing it on a month over month. But it'd be easier for me and for him, I think, if we can approve this one and then, unless there's a change to the contract number, that we can let me take it down and have them pay it.
I'd make a motion to allow John to pay the mowing invoices not to exceed the contracted amount of $700 per month
I'll
for the
second.
remainder of the mowing season.
Thank you.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
I will say I drove out there and it looked really nice. It looked like they were really even paying more attention now to like weed eating around things. And I mean, I don't know what
They
the
have,
difference is, but it's
they've done a really
nice.
good
They did a
job.
good job.
They've done a
I
good
was out there
job.
while they were mowing and I thought if they weren't too busy, I would tell them thank you, but
Yeah, they've done a really good job.
they want to stop
The
them.
only one we've taken off now is lot 4, which Ron's actually started to build on. So it'll adjust, maybe
Because
adjust.
Greg hasn't started on, or Arnold Associates hasn't started on G and M3, so
That's correct.
that's not.
So
We're gonna start
and
pretty
then
soon.
he's been mowing a little bit more around the front. And, I think he's done a nice job of keeping.
Oh,
everything up.
absolutely.
And if we get too
Better
many,
than you and I and Colton and Trent Gunn.
and Tony Mogan and
Tony Mogan.
Tony and Will Mogan and I mowed it one day in the rain. That was a lot of fun.
So these two in the front are the new ones sold and then this one
Lot 4.
also? Oh, lot 4 sold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lot 4 had been sold once and they got resold.
Okay, so,
I still think 20 and 23 are the
Oh,
best
okay.
lot there.
do we have any estimates from these people when they're gonna start building these? Are they spec
I think as
homes or?
soon as they can kind of get their schedule.
I didn't know if they were gonna be spec homes or people actually bought them to build.
No, I think they're gonna be specs. I don't-
Okay.
Unless they have somebody specific now.
Okay.
Um,
I'm glad to see some up in this area.
Yeah, it's moving.
Yeah.
And that's all we can hope for, is we just keep moving them on. I have received back from REC 2 payments on electric return, which we deposited now in the account, so.
What about Comcast? Did we ever hear any more about what were they
We've
doing?
got a letter out to Comcast right now, but basically telling them they can't show up. I approved that letter last week, and no, I've not heard from them since.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was an
They
update.
quit answering their phone calls. So, I think Randy had found a letter from Steve, that was sent to Steve for the, street or highway department.
Yeah.
He forwarded that to me, and that's the address that we used to send it to,
Okay,
so,
maybe it worked.
And so they haven't done any more work.
as far as I can tell, they've not been in there, as far as I can tell.
We talked, a year and a half ago, we talked about the city. I don't know why we gotta go through the city. I know that we fall within their 2-mile exclusion zone, but we still do not have the no jake brake signs installed out on 37. And we talked about that when we started developing this
Yeah, I
subdivision.
think, that might be the state.
Well, it has to be an ordinance passed,
Yeah.
whether we do it just.
Well, they have one in town here, it's just to be a matter of them moving that out. Moving that
Is
ordinance
that
out.
approved by the city or the county?
That might be the city.
Because it fell within the 2-mile
It's the
zoning,
Building and zoning, so
so if we have it there,
I'll just see if they can extend it out.
push it out way before the subdivision.
Yeah, I'll say something to Chris. I've got to talk to him about it.
Chris, Cal,
Chris Kale.
see if he can, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's needed.
So other than that, this
Make a motion.
point, unless something comes up for next month, we'll kind of see if we even need to do a meeting next month. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because I don't know of anything that's on the agenda that we have to do. And if something changes, I'll let you all know. Is that okay? I know Jonathan,
Yeah. I was
we'd still like to meet with him, and I don't want to figure out what his next schedule is.
He's coming Thursday
Yeah.
to our meeting, but, I mean, maybe we can get it for the next meeting that we have. He
Yeah,
can-
I don't know what his days in town are gonna be, so we'll have
Yeah.
to figure that out. And maybe he can.
I think we
adjust-
just let him know when our meetings
Maybe we
are.
can adjust it out, and maybe that might be what if he can come next month, maybe we get him in
Yeah.
next month and just kind of make it his meeting. And he can walk us through what he
Keep us
wants.
updated.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That'd be great.
Available.
Yeah, I'll try to keep him that Monday for you.
It's okay. Summer, good summer.
Okay. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, we have a second. Thank you all very much.
Aye. Did you say aye?
I said no.